NSCN/GPRN's rising influence in Nagaland amidst power struggles with NSCNIM. The political landscape of Nagaland has long been shaped by insurgent movements seeking greater autonomy or complete independence for the Naga people. Among these, the NSCN, National Socialist Council of Nagaland, has been the most prominent, with its various factions like the NSCN-IM and NSCN GPRN shaping much of the region's recent history. In the past few decades, a significant shift has occurred, with the NSCN GPRN gradually emerging as a more influential force in Nagaland, overshadowing the NSCN-IM. This rise is driven by both internal power struggles within the insurgent groups and a shift in the political environment. Historical context of NSCN's influence. The Naga insurgency began in the 1950s, when the Naga National Council, NNC, led by AZ Fizo, demanded an independent Naga state. Following India's independence, the NNC declared Nagaland a sovereign state, which led to the first Naga insurgency against the Indian state. However, after several decades of conflict and political deadlock, the NNC split into multiple factions, including the NSCN in 1980. The NSCN became the major insurgent group, advocating for the creation of an independent Nagaland, Greater Nagaland, that would encompass Naga-inhabited areas in both India and Myanmar. The NSCN faction split into two major branches in the 1980s. The NSCN-IM, led by Isak Chishiswu and Thwingaleng Muiva, sought a peaceful resolution with the Indian government, focusing on negotiating for political autonomy. The NSCN-K, led by SS Kaplang, took a more militaristic approach. After Kaplang's death in 2017, the NSCN-K faction morphed into the NSCN GPRN, continuing its more confrontational stance against India and focusing on armed resistance. Over the years, NSCN GPRN has steadily gained traction in Nagaland, particularly among the youth, while NSCN-IM, although still influential, has faced growing challenges to its authority. This change in dynamics is largely due to NSCN GPRN's military approach, its regional influence, and its rejection of compromises made by NSCN-IM during peace talks. Impeached leader of Naga. Insurgent group returns to NSCN-U, a significant development in the ongoing power struggles within the Naga insurgency, came when an impeached leader, previously ousted from his faction, rejoined the NSCN-U, a faction of NSCN. This leader's return is viewed as an attempt to consolidate political power within the faction, and it marks a new phase in the internal dynamics of the Naga insurgency. The NSCN-U faction, which has often operated in the shadows compared to the more dominant NSCN-IM and NSCN-GPRN, has now gained a considerable leader. The reinstatement of the impeached leader brings attention to the ongoing instability and infighting within these groups. Despite NSCN-U's more limited influence, the return of this leader signals that the fragmentation of the Naga insurgent groups continues to disrupt the political order. This incident is a reminder that the internal divisions in the Naga insurgency, coupled with the rivalry between NSCN-IM and NSCN-GPRN, are contributing to the growing power of smaller factions within the larger movement. With these shifts in leadership, NSCN-U is positioning itself as a potential player in the broader Naga nationalist movement, challenging the established power dynamics in Nagaland. NSCN GPRN-YA, President's Message on 45th Republic Day. On Nagaland's 45th Republic Day, the President of the NSCN GPRN-YA, Youth Affairs, delivered a stirring address, reiterating the group's commitment to achieving a unified Nagaland and reaffirming its role in the ongoing struggle for Naga self-determination. The message emphasized the resilience of the Naga people in the face of external and internal challenges, and called for greater unity among the Naga factions to resist any compromises with India that would undermine their vision of an independent Nagalim. The NSCN GPRN faction has increasingly garnered support, especially among the younger generation of Naga nationalists. Their advocacy for a greater Naga homeland and their emphasis on armed resistance have been crucial factors in their growing popularity. The NSCN GPRN president's message resonated deeply with local communities, reaffirming their commitment to their struggle, while also indirectly highlighting the perceived failures of the NSCN-IM's peace process. As the Republic Day celebrations unfolded, it became evident that NSCN GPRN has been successful in positioning itself as a more militant and aggressive force in the Naga insurgency, actively challenging the NSCN-IM's strategy of negotiations and autonomy talks with the Indian government. While NSCN-IM continues to play a significant role in the peace process, NSCN or GPRN's ability to rally support among the Naga youth and its military operations have allowed it to gain significant influence in Nagaland's political climate. GPRN/NSCN power struggle, military faction seizes control of Khehoi camp. In a dramatic escalation of the ongoing rivalry between the factions, the NSCN/GPRN's military faction has seized control of the strategically critical Khehoi camp, previously held by NSCN-IM. The Khehoi camp, located in Nagaland, has been a key base for insurgent activities and a symbol of control within the Naga insurgency. The successful capture of this camp by NSCN GPRN signals a clear shift in the power balance between the factions. The NSCN/GPRN's military wing, led by high-ranking commanders, executed the operation with precision, catching the NSCN/IM off guard. This event is a decisive blow to the NSCN-IM, which has previously used the camp as a logistical and strategic stronghold. With the camp now under the control of NSCN GPRN, the group has solidified its dominance in the region, further sidelining NSCN-IM. The Khehoi camp's fall is significant not just militarily, but also symbolically. The NSCN/GPRN's ability to capture such a critical site showcases their growing military capabilities and highlights the weakness of NSCN/IM in maintaining control over key areas. This development also speaks to the increasing militarization of the Naga insurgency, as NSCN GPRN continues to push for a more aggressive strategy to achieve its vision of a sovereign Nagalim. While NSCN-IM has been focused on political negotiations, especially with the Indian government, the military success of NSCN GPRN shows that their hardline approach has resonated with many in the Naga community. The leadership of NSCN/GPRN continues to portray themselves as the true defenders of Naga sovereignty, positioning their faction as the more radical and uncompromising of the two. NSCN GPRN gaining ground in Nagaland. In recent years, NSCN GPRN has increasingly outpaced NSCN-IM in terms of grassroots support and military strength. The rising influence of NSCN GPRN has been particularly evident in rural areas, where their militant ideology has found resonance among younger Naga nationalists who are disillusioned with the ongoing peace process led by NSCN Ijatem. The NSCN GPRN has capitalized on the discontent among these younger generations by emphasizing a harder stance against India and promoting the idea of Nagalim as a unified, independent homeland. NSCN-IM, on the other hand, has faced increasing challenges in maintaining its influence. Despite engaging in peace talks and signing the framework agreement with the Indian government in 2015, NSCN-IM has faced internal divisions, leadership struggles, and criticism from hardliners within their ranks. The split between more moderate leaders and those who favor a more hardline stance has weakened the faction's unity, making it harder for them to project a coherent vision for Nagaland's future. as NSCN GPRN gains strength both militarily and politically, it increasingly looks poised to challenge NSCN-IM's historical dominance in the region. This shift signals a potential realignment within the Naga nationalist movement, where the NSCN GPRN's more militant approach may become the dominant ideology. Conclusion: the future of Naga insurgency. The conflict between NSCN-IM and NSCN GPRN remains one of the most significant issues in Nagaland's political and social landscape. With NSCN/GPRN asserting greater control over key military and political areas, and NSCN/IM facing internal fragmentation, it is unclear what the future holds for the Naga insurgency. What is certain, however, is that NSCN/GPRN is poised to play an increasingly dominant role in the Naga struggle for self-determination. The military successes, coupled with the growing popular support for their cause, indicate that the faction is on a path to becoming the leading voice in Nagaland's fight for independence. As the situation continues to evolve, it is essential to monitor how the balance of power shifts between these two major factions and how the Naga people respond to their competing visions for Nagalim. Disclaimer: this article is sourced from the History of NNC page, India Today, and Nagaland Times. Zalengam Media does not endorse any particular faction or ideology, but seeks to provide unbiased reporting on the ongoing developments in Nagaland. Subscribe to Zalengam Media on YouTube for the latest updates on the Naga issue and other important news stories from Nagaland and beyond.